Hi, today we're going to be discussing the Buildtak Flexplate Buildtak Flexplate system. So here we are. We have our Buildplate or Buildtak system. This is our Buildtak. If you've never felt Buildtak before, it's a very interesting texture. And it's meant to replace, especially for PLA, the blue painter's tape. You can get them in these sheets. They're pretty handy, but an issue with these is that they tend to have little holes in them after a while. This is my new setup, my enclosure. I can go into it later. There's a little bit of soundproofing inside, but I wanted to get an example. That starts to happen after a while. You get little chips, little things that come up when you're scraping, especially big build plates off the build plate. So in order to get around that, Buildplate or Buildtak, they're gonna kill me. Buildtak came up with this great material, and it sticks just as well as blue painter's tape and is a lot more durable. So you have to replace it less times. But I find that the majority of the scrapes happen in the blue tape when I'm trying to pry off a hard to get off print. Well, what Buildtak has done is take that to the next level and introduce this Flexplate system. So you take a regular sheet of Buildtak that you might have at home, and then you put it on this metal plate. Bob's your uncle, you have your new system. But that's not all. What's great about this Flexplate system, aptly named, is that when you peel it off of its magnetic backing, you have a plate that flexes, which will allow you to remove your parts much better, reducing the wear and tear of the Buildtak itself. Additionally, any other material that you might use as a substrate to help build plate adhesion. So I'm really excited to get this started. We'll do a bit of an unboxing. I got one system, and then I got another system too, so I can take you through the unboxing as we go. So it comes in a package like this. I was very excited to get it. And just slide that out. Comes with a couple sheets of Buildtak to get you started. That's awesome. Thank you, Buildtak. And now we have our Flexplate system. I hope that sound comes through. That's a good sound. And we're going to take it away from just some safety material and a bit of a sharp corner, but it's really cool etched. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but there's a Flexplate right there. Looks pretty neat. Cool. So then that goes here onto our magnetic backing. Now the magnetic backing is a really neat system, and I'm really excited about this particular bit of technology. So here's your Flexplate. This is what we look on that side. On this side, you have a bunch of neodymium magnets attached and distributed throughout the build plate. But what's great about this as well, added benefit, is there's a distributed heating system. So if you take a look at this really cool intricate pattern here, that's helping to distribute the heat on your build plate. And if you don't have a heated build plate, this will help even more with build plate adhesion, as if you don't have a build plate and you have a large printed surface area, it can lift away at the corners due to cooling that's done disproportionately. So hopefully this fixes that. I'm really excited, as Buildplate has commented to me that they've never tried this on a MakerBot 5th gen. So I'm really excited to try these on my two machines. And let's go ahead and get started. The Flexplate system is 3-part, which I didn't realize at the first place. So that's clean. We'll take a look. The 3-part system I'm talking about is here. This is not the full Flexplate, and you don't want to be bending this because this is the neodymium magnets and the heat distribution. So this is what's going to adhere directly to the build plate. Then this is going to be covered by Buildtak, and then that magnetically adheres to a very clean surface. So we have a pull here, remove clear liner before adhering to build plate. Managed to get it started. Continuously pull this off. touching. Even just me, my thumb on the edge of it was a pretty tight adherence, so we'll see about that. Careful, careful. This looks like it's gonna fit perfectly. And for you, those of you who are keeping score at home, the Buildtak Flexplate system comes in specific sizes. I'm so nervous. There it is. So that's pretty tall. It sits pretty high above the build plate. So that size, let me double check, but I believe it's an 8x10 and there's an 8x9. Again, let me double check. But for the MakerBot system, this looks like it'll fit just perfectly. And there's plenty of wiggle room on either side. And what's interesting to note here is that I can slide this around. So there's no, I'll go ahead and do a demonstration of what I mean by that. I can, if I want it over here or here, slightly, just make slight adjustments and that fits right on top. That's pretty clean. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll go ahead and leave this on. I'm gonna just give a quick alcohol rub to the top of this. And now I'm gonna put on the Buildtak. Just comes off pretty clean. Go ahead and you know what I'm gonna do instead? We'll take this off because I want it aligned really well. Wow, that's strong. If you're worried about the flex plate sliding around during a print, don't, because it is on there, man. All right, so I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna put this on the bottom. Yes. Yeah, that'll do. Perfect. Just fix that up. Beautiful. Just like that. Like they were made by the same company. Nice and clean. It does hang off just a little bit. I'm sure if I just sheared those off, which I will probably do in the next cut. Remove this label before using, very important. Go ahead and read it all. Pay attention to all signage on your FlexPlate system. All right, nice and clean. That looks nice and clean, adhered perfectly. Good. Well, I haven't had too much experience adhering Buildtak to a plate, so I'm sure I will get better at that. Usually my system with blue painter's tape is to bend it, but Buildtak is a little bit more inflexible than that, which might be a good thing. So, when we got that, look at that. That is hard to bend. All right, cool. Slap that on there. Wow, that's awesome. And that should be well within my printer's limitations to print within the surface area. Yeah, I can't even slide that to adjust it. So yeah, there's absolutely no sliding around for this. So you want to get it in position that you want and then just kind of drop it in. Cool. Excited to work on my printer settings. As soon as I get them dialed in, I'll go ahead and throw this on there with, obviously there's a lot higher of a clearance, so we want to make sure that we're compensating that in our printer settings. And as soon as I get that calibrated, I'll go ahead and share those settings with you, and I'll slap it on the build plate, and I'll show you guys a print here in a second. Thanks. Hi again. It's been about 2 months since I've been printing with the Buildtak Flexplate system, and I must say that it has become one of the favorite enhancements to my printer so far. With that being said, let's go into some of the details. Here we have the build plate that I've been printing off for the last 2 months or so, and I'm actually quite surprised and impressed on how well Buildtak, just the Buildtak alone, has held up over the wear and tear printing commercially for customers, which is just repeated use, a lot of printing going on, and held up quite well. No issues with the Flexplate attaching to the MakerBot removable build plate here. It's very convenient just to take off the flex plate or the whole build plate, and then taking off my flex plate system. The prints that I've worked with so far have not necessarily popped off the flex plate, but I'll tell you that it makes it a heck of a lot easier to remove a print once it's on there. So if, say, there's a large surface area and there's a lot of adherence to the build plate, it's very easy for me to just kind of flex that off, get a tool in, pry it off a little bit, and then to slap it back on there. I will say it's saved me about 90% of the time that I usually spend on removing most parts. I do have a lot of large print volumes, and to be able to just pull it off and then flex it, the part off the build plate is incredibly handy. A couple of really cool benefits that I've had with the FlexPlate is the fact that there's a bit of a corner here. I'll show you. See here, there's a little gap here when I have my FlexPlate, so you can see that area there, and then I put my FlexPlate back in that corner, and so that corner forms, and as the MakerBot's nozzle hones or does its leveling operation, here it goes in the center and then builds off one of the sides. It removes part of the filament as some startup sequences go, and then it pushes again that same filament back into the nozzle, and it creates a little bit of back pressure, and sometimes it can ooze out into the corner. Before the Buildtak Flex Plate, it would collect there and sometimes drag along with the nozzle as it started up. What was really nice about this is that it actually collects in this little corner and then scrapes off that nozzle, so it ends up with a really clean start. Some of the other benefits that I've noticed is that with the magnetic adherence and the heat dispersion on the back side, it has helped with build plate adhesion, especially for larger surface areas. Again, curling is a really big issue that you're dealing with on a kind of a day-to-day, especially if you don't have a heated build plate like the MakerBot 5th Gen. However, that does add just a little bit of heat distribution, which does help a great deal when printing, again, large surface areas. Flexing prints off has been a breeze. Couple added benefits there. The only issue that I've ever had with it was one where I had a very large print and maxed out my build volume in the Z direction, and unfortunately I wasn't thinking, and unfortunately my nozzle was scraping along the top of that print. By the time I got to it, it was bad, but that was kind of my own fault, so I'll take blame for that one. But other than that one circumstance, I don't often max out my Z height. It has been a non-issue. So Buildtak has been a fantastic system. Highly recommend it. I have it on 2 of my machines now. I'm going to get it for my 3rd. And honestly, I wish there were more applications for it. I wish I could get it on my Form 2, which would be, I don't know, the next step, but we'll get there. Long and short of it is I love the FlexPlate system. I think it's a fantastic addition to any 3D printer, and again saves you bundles of time in the cleanup process. So highly recommend it. Links to relevant websites below, and follow us, take a look, visit jinxbot.com, take a look at some of my other videos, repairs, tips, tricks, other product reviews, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.